I've started.
Okay. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I keep up to my promises, so I have the Nyaki Tshabangu.
Yes.
I said it right. So I'll just introduce her quickly. This could potentially be a long video, so I'm just gonna not waste time with the other things. I met Nyaki a couple of years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, at natural hair events, and then like just over a year to 2 years ago. I don't remember how we actually got in touch, but she was running natural hair company, and I had been running Love Kings under masterclasses and selling satin pillowcases. So we really started working together when I started selling the Dukes, which was last year May, and I started selling through her, which was a great partnership because it got me distribution, it got her name out there, her company name, Natural Hair Company. I mention it a lot here. I get all of my tools and products from her, and she does distribute all my Dukes, my pillowcases, and now the hair ties, actually getting them today. And yeah, she's been very instrumental in my business processes, like I mentioned before. I'm an implementer, but gosh, do I get stuck. So I get stuck quite often, and then when I get stuck, I get boggled down, and I just would rather do it the long way around, or just cut it out completely. So she'd be like, "Why are you writing way bills with why are you writing?" As I was saying, Nyaki would be like, "Why are you filling out way bills?" It's a waste of time. I'd be like, "Oh, Nyaki, I don't want to relearn a new thing. Not relearn, but learn a new way." Because I'm every day in business, you're learning something new, and I got tired of that hectic upskilling thing. So I was like, "No, I want to learn nothing for at least the next 10 days." So she let me be, and then she'd remind me every now and again, "Sino, when are you getting your printer? Sino, this is where you can get sticky paper." So eventually, I think like after 6 months, I bought a printer. I bought exactly the same printer she had, but I heard she upgraded now. I'll probably get the one she has now as well. And then I use a printing system. And sometimes when we both have problems with certain things that we decided that we're using, we'll call each other. And yeah, she's just great, man. Like, also I'm quite emotional, so I'm like, "Nyaki, what do I do? My tax is so high." And she'll be like, "Yeah, you can do this. Yeah, it is high. You can't escape it. But you can do this and this and this, all of those things." So she's great. She also has a lot of business influence from her dad and her dad's businesses. So I think that has also helped. So yeah, I'm just going to give over the platform to her. This is going to be her YouTube page for the next couple of minutes. And yeah, she'll take us through how she scaled her business. And she's a millionaire now.
I wish. Oh my gosh. I really wish.
And how she made a revenue. Revenue is very different from profit.
Yeah,
and there's gross profit, and then there's net profit. It's a lot. But revenue is important though, because it shows how your market responds to what your product is. And very seldom is your product a good business. So you have to form a good business for the product that you have. Sorry, I'm going to say one more thing. I was actually watching a video for school. They have YouTube links and stuff, and they said sometimes you'll be selling a product and the business is run so badly that you'd rather give the product away for free and get the people's information. Because apparently in the American market, people's information and addresses is worth $1, which is 15 rand at the current moment, or whatever. I don't know. I think it's 14 rand something. You're making more profit because that's clean info. I don't know. Basically, the product only is not always the product.
Business.
Yeah. Product does ideas and products or services don't mean that you'll have a good business. Good business is more about the strategies, and then Nyaki is going to tell us more about that because
I think it's about the strategies and the systems, right?
Yes,
because the systems is important in that, people will say, "Oh, how do you run a business, or how do you start a business?" It's like starting a business is easy, but running a business and being profitable in a business, that is
being profitable.
Testing.
Being profitable is so hectic, yeah. But yeah, okay. So how are you going to structure it? Okay, I'm not going to ask any questions. So Nyaki, take over. Speak to the people.
Gee whiz. Okay, so speak to the business. I think I'm going to do maybe a few things that maybe if you are starting your business, you do need to be aware of, and some limiting beliefs. I'm going to ask at the end just to go through some limiting beliefs. Maybe think about some in your current business and day to day. But one of the things that, so I recently did a masterclass on starting and scaling your business, basically taking my experiences that I've learned over the past many years of running many different kinds of businesses, both product-based businesses with Natural Hair Co. and then a service-based business with a restaurant that we used to own in Cape Town. I did a masterclass basically just trying to give people a very wide and understanding of what you need to think about before even starting a business. And then when you are or have already started a business, what are the things that you need to be considering quite actively and pursuing quite, strictly in order to make a success out of your business? Because, it's easy for you guys to see Sino and be like, oh no, Sino's got like 200,000 followers, but there are people who have even more followers on social media that do really, really poorly in business. It's not like, if you've got 20,000 followers, then you're going to do like whatever, you're going to get 20,000 Rand. And if you've got 400,000 followers, then you're going to get 400,000 Rand. It's like you can still make 500 million Rand if you've got 5,000 customers or whatever. So it's
definitely. There's a lady who owns Chic Cosmetics. I just discovered last week. She's got like 6,000 followers, but her branding and her business is
amazing.
It's incredible.
And she's on Superbalist now.
Yeah, she's on Superbalist now, yeah.
So it's like, I think one of the things that we need to overcome, especially because in this day and age of social media, it's like, that number that is attached to the people that are viewing your page doesn't necessarily equate to brands, right? So likes don't pay the bills, money does. And so it's how do you monetize your following, small or big, right? And Sina's done a really good job in the sense of, she built a separate Love Kings page. And one of the things that you spoke about in your previous YouTube video was like how you weren't marketing to your page because you have like this like, it was like, oh no, these people are not going to be interested in my little story, or, they're not going to like it, or I'm really nervous, or I'm just like, being shy about it. And I think like out of all the people that I've spoken to, so for the past couple of weeks, I've been taking a lot of calls, just 15-minute calls, just asking people like, what are the issues that they're facing in their businesses? And like 80% of the people that I've spoken to, it's a confidence issue.
Oh,
it's
wow.
literally like, oh, Nyaki, I don't know how to do this, or I don't think it's going to work, or I have this idea, but I don't know how to start, or I'm scared to start. And it's just like, start. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you'll fail.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't work, then you go back to whatever you were doing before or do something else.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing is that we also like have this like perception that like success, success must look like this. For me to be successful, for me to run a business, or for me to be featured on Sino's YouTube video, I must have like 40,000, I must have my own YouTube video. I must have 40,000 subscribers, I must be super popular, whatever. But it isn't. Sometimes it's just about reaching out. But also, so reaching out and providing value, right? So the relationship that Sino and I have is a relationship, right? It's not like she's an influencer and I need her help. And so I'm going to use like whatever her, it's not a one-way thing. And I think it's important that even when you do go into business and you build relationships, especially with other entrepreneurs, is that you need to like clearly analyze and clearly distinguish the relationship, right? So the symbiosis that is being interacted. So they're getting this and I'm doing this and this is, and it doesn't have to be so clinical and so like, thought of, but when you go to sleep at night, you must feel good. Like, okay, I actually helped a business today, knowing that, tonight or tomorrow, if I need help, this person's going to be able to help me, or they're going to be able to come through. So I think, so partnership and, I always speak about know when to compete and when to collaborate, because that is like, I think I'm going to get that on a t-shirt. When do you collaborate? When do you compete?
And when to collaborate.
Because
not to form anything, not to do anything. Don't compete, don't collaborate. Yeah.
It's important, right? Those are the things that like, especially when we're starting new businesses, and we want to get help, or we want to interact with people, just like, oh no, I can't do this because Sino's already done it. Or obviously don't come to Sino and be like, oh Sino, I want to sell dooks. Can we sell dooks together? Or like, oh Sino, I have this pillowcase line. I want to sell, because obviously that's not a collaboration. That's a clear like, I wouldn't even say competing, but like that's a clear no. But like if you own like a thread company, you sell thread. Hey, Sino, I sell thread. You obviously use thread in your business. Can we collaborate? Like those are the things that you need to like, think about quite strategically and say, this is what this person is doing, understand what they're doing, and possibly in which areas that you can plug in to be able to serve them so that they can serve you.
an important thing that I actually want to add to what you're saying, when you're going to collaborate with someone, your gut feeling is very key to knowing whether emotionally or mentally that collaboration can also work. For example, in the first 1 or 2 days that I met Nyaki, I realized, okay, she speaks quickly, she does. She came to my place and she literally folded books on the floor and color coordinated them. And I was like, I like people like that are doers. Sometimes collaborations, you think that it will work because on paper it makes sense, but then you and the person speak over each other or speak past each other or don't hear each other. So Nyaki and I also, when she speaks, I understand and hear her. When I speak, she understands and hears me. I think that's how I feel. And then other situations, collaborations haven't worked because of just the personal aspect, that the personalities clash. So you need to, in that collaborative aspect, collaborate with people who you also get along with, that you like, people that you can look up to, admire, and like.
And learn something from, right?
Yeah.
I think it's also important, though, when you are collaborating, that you don't confuse a business relationship with a friendship relationship, right? So, like, we always, like, don't get into business with your friends or your family, but, like, don't take advantage of a business relationship and convert it into a friendship, right? So Sino sends me an invoice. Sino can send me a WhatsApp. Hi, Nyaki, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Da 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 da. You know, miss you, girl. Da da da. Here's my invoice, and I have to pay it because the relationship that we have, we're not like Chomi, you know,
I'll pay you next month.
I'll pay you next
cash
month.
Flow. No,
Your
cash flow has nothing to do with
Absolutely.
me. But you can go tell your friend that, geez, cash flow is so low. I'm buying 1 packet of bacon instead of 2 this month.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think those are the things that for me that's really important. Is like, and don't abuse people's relationships, right? And don't abuse and don't waste people's time. Like that for me is like, if you ask someone something and they commit to doing it all, like you're interested in getting them to work with you or for you, don't waste their time, right? If you say, Sino, I'm going to be there at 12 o'clock, be there at 12 o'clock. If you're late at 11:30, send a message, hi, Sino, I'm late at 11:30, or I'm not able to make it anymore, because she's cancelled her plans, right? Or she's had to change things around. If you say that you're going to be able to sell something, obviously, like, selling is different because, you know, the market may relate, you know, differently to what you think. But, like, don't say, oh yeah, no, definitely I can sell 1,000 Love King Stooks. When have I ever sold 1,000 Love King Stooks?
You did, though, last year. 1 month.
She's so. But I mean, like, you know, that was like, you know, rather be surprised than overcommit.
Yes.
Imagine I said, no, so, you know, I can send 10,000 dooks. Just produce 10,000 dooks. That's your money gone down the drain because you obviously have to pay your suppliers. And then I must pay, you know, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, sorry, it didn't work out. I only sold 100.
And also take less so that if you need more, you can rather come fetch. Or also, like, ask the person, if I don't sell, can I buy back? Can you buy back from me? All of that.
But it's just like, those are like terms and conditions, I think, that you set up in the beginning quite clearly to say, okay, this is what I understand is going to happen. This is what you understand is going to happen. Is there like a contract and like a meeting of minds to say, okay, this is actually what we both understand is happening here, not just like, you know, two days later, I'm like, oh yeah, see, no, actually, this is not how I felt about it. But okay, before I finish, now I think we've like spoken way more.
No, you can carry on.
Okay, so systems are important in the sense that you won't be able to grow and scale your business. So scaling is effectively you have a product or you have a fully functioning business effectively, and you are selling 10 units. In order for you to be able to sell 100 units, something has to change, right? So either you have to employ more people, or you have to have a bigger space, or you have to order more packaging equipment, or whatever the process that you have to do. But in order to scale and scale efficiently, you have to have systems in place that work when you sell 10, that you can, you know, improve on to sell 100, improve on to sell 1,000, improve on to sell 10,000. What you do at 10 units is not going to be the same as what you do at 100 units. But if you are failing to sell 10 units, like if you are overwhelmed with like sales and you don't know what email is coming through, and your customer service is really poor at 10 products, what do you think is going to happen at 100 products? What do you think is going to happen at 10,000 products? So it's important to get your customer service system right.
That was one of my biggest challenges.
So even if it's like, how do you respond to people on social media? If it is a social media, do you respond to them, screen grab it, send it to like, I don't know, send it to something where you can attend to it later so that you actually have a record of what you're sending? Do you ask people to respond to you via a certain email address? You know, that's like customer service. Even your customer service policies, like, excuse me, do you take returns?
Yeah.
What are your return policies,
Yeah.
right? What are your refund policies? There was these customers like, especially in December, what they do is like, it was just my thing, but they would like pay for something in like November, because we were taking pre-orders, pay for something in November, and then like 2 weeks later, it's like they didn't have money or something, and then they want the money back.
I get that a lot as well. Like someone will say, my order is, I haven't received my order, so can I please have the money back? I can tell when it's like someone who needs the money now no longer wants the product, but I already have a clause on my website that says all orders take up 1 to 30 days. So unfortunately, it's not a valid reason for a refund. Yeah.
So like what does that look like if it is? Because the thing is, when someone does that costs you money.
Yeah, because
right?
you've got the service fees. So for examples, I'll give 2 examples of what I needed to change in our scaling. I used to sell on email, and I started selling on a website. So getting a website was part of my scaling. And then I had to hire someone who responded to Instagram DMs, emails. I like responding to emails because I can get a sense of what my customers are feeling and needing and what they don't like. But when I can't do it, she'd do it. So before when I was selling via email, I didn't have service charges. I didn't have the people that are charging me for using you guys using your cards, and then the people that are charging me for the order to actually come in. Yeah. So I had to factor that into profit margins. What needs to happen for you to scale? Do you have to increase your prices? Yeah. There's different pricing models that you can go to Google Scholar, pricing models. Also that you can price your product differently in the beginning. Your price can go lower or go higher over time and all of that. So there's a lot of systems, how much money you have, can you buy material for 10 versus 100? Yeah. So there's a lot of systems, but write it down and have headings and then research. Even if you search one scholarly paper on each aspect that you want to improve on, because you need technical know-how, not just your gut feeling. Because unfortunately, if you're an engineer, you most likely won't know about material and material other things. So you need to do a little bit of research under each thing that you need to improve and write it down. How many things? And also if you have to improve on 20 things, you're probably not going to be able to. So if it costs you more emotionally and overall to scale to a certain amount, rather don't do it or give it more time. Give it 5 years and not 6 months.
So that term is called marginal return. I couldn't remember it once upon a time, but it's called marginal return.
Yes.
It's basically the difference in which, at 10 units, it's going to cost you this much. At 100 units, it's going to cost you this much. So at 10 units, you can still fulfill from your house.
Oh,
it's
yes.
going to be fine. But at 100 units, you have
office.
to get an office. You have to get staff. You have to get whatever. But is that money worth it? And so that's why some people will just be like, nope. That was one of your strategies
that's what I did.
At the beginning.
So I was selling little, and then it was cute. So I was like fulfilling 7 orders a month. I loved it. And then I got like 5,000 orders in 1 month. And then I was like, no, man, like employing more people and paying salaries decreases the profit so much. Having to pay accountants to do my books versus doing my books myself. Because when you're selling 100 items, you can do your books yourself. But when you're selling 10,000 items a month, you're not going to be able to do your books yourself and understand how much you need to pay sales and all of that stuff. And then another aspect was, so it was employing people, and then it was space. Oh my gosh. So she bought me storage containers, changed my life. Like just the fulfilling process. I used to have books like on my mat, fold. It was a disaster. My mind though doesn't go there. Like I can't know everything about systems. So I needed the collaboration to make the systems aspect make more sense. So your previous point talks to this point. Yes. So, and I realized, no, it's not worth it. I'd rather be giving the products away for free, like I said. So I scaled down. So I sell way less now than I did last year. Okay, demand will fluctuate, but also I am way lower than what the demand is because it just doesn't make sense at this moment. But we are in the process of growing the business so that it does make sense to scale in a different way, whether it's through retailers where I don't actually have to need the space and the people and the time to fulfill.
Yeah, but that's also something that you have to calculate, right? To say at what point are we going to go into retail? Because if I can do whatever, this many units or this much per month, if I go into retail, is that going to decrease? Is it going to increase? Is the stress level going to be? So like there's you speak a lot about your mental health and like how you struggled a lot in the beginning. And that's important, right? Like I know it's very like glamorous to own a business and like, living the best life, but like it takes a lot out of you. And if you don't have a proper support system, mentally, financially, physically, like if you don't have shoulders to cry on, this place is, it's a detrimental place.
Definitely. I just took a month off now. I went to East London. I visited my parents, visited my partner's parents. Like it was just like so good to pour back into myself, because I realized that in a period of 14 months, I spent majority of my time in pajamas fulfilling orders. And like that does a lot for me. It weighs me down a lot. And when you're always in pajamas, always sitting and fulfilling orders, you don't even know how to dress anymore. Like I got to a point where I'd look at my clothes, I didn't know how to put them together. So the social and fun aspect of my life completely disappeared. And I feel like media and social media, they over glamorize grinding till from the sun, when the sun comes up till it comes down. Don't leave your house, take 2 years to just, no guys, like you need a balance,
it's important. It is important.
And also like I ended up like telling my boyfriend and Nyaki and anyone else who could listen all my issues. I got a therapist. So I would tell my therapist about my personal and business issues so that I could protect the integrity of my relationship with my boyfriend, my relationship with Nyaki. So also don't use the people around you to vent and cry on too much. Yeah.
I think so to that point, it's like even when you would vent to me, it would be like, okay, so what are you doing about it, right? So like, this is the problem. Okay, let's fix it. What are you going to do? And then you would respond pretty quickly to say, okay, actually, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a new printer. Okay, Nyaki, I've had it now. I'm done with this. I'm buying a new printer. And then you'd buy a new printer, and then that becomes a challenge. But like, not to stay like every week, Zino's phoning me about like, she hasn't bought a new printer because I told her. But like stupid, that's a really like very low level example, but it's an example that I think, especially if you're starting out, you can really connect with.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So knowing your product or service. I'm not going to use Natural Hair Co. as an example. I'm actually going to use Twigs, the restaurant that we used to own in Cape Town, because it's a service-based business. And I think it's important to, I'm using them separately because service-based businesses and product-based businesses are different, but they're the same in that your service is your product, right?
Yeah.
So the restaurant was our product. That's what we were selling. We were selling an experience of restaurant. And this could go if you have a hair salon, if you have a massage place, if you do furniture renovations or whatever, like that is your product. Your product is people coming back.
It's so interesting, though, how you can have a restaurant or salon, like you said, and your service product or whatever is different. For example, one salon can just say convenience, selling the salon itself, and one can say it's not the most convenient, but I'm selling this it's not so convenient, but I'm selling how well I do the hair.
Yes.
Or like a restaurant would say, you guys were selling the experience, and then so let's say you're not going to sell kombumba or whatever, but then the other people are like, you'll come here for the food. You're not really coming.
Yeah.
Food is experience, but they're selling the food more than they're selling the
ambience.
Yeah.
I think it's important though to know why people are coming to you, right?
Yeah,
so what sets you apart?
Is it your happy hour?
Yes.
Is it, I don't know, is it your DJing, your music? You could have a restaurant, the food is subpar or whatever, but you have killer music and killer drinks, People go to different, and also different target market based on each.
Yeah.
Some restaurants have older people, some restaurants have younger people based on what the actual service that they want to be giving to people is.
Yeah. So it's important to know your product and then know why people come to your product. So with Twigs, we knew that they came for our coffee. Like our food was like, meh, our cake was like, meh, but our coffee, there was no better place in Claremont to get your coffee. And so like you can't compete on things, know when to compete and know when to collaborate, right? So we can't compete on Coke, the restaurant next door, because we were in a chain of restaurants. So like whether we sell Coke for 15 Rand or the other restaurant sells Coke for 14 Rand, if you're coming for coffee, you're going to come to Twigs. And so the important part is to know why people are coming to your service. Is it because they like, because we were in a corner, so people liked to sit there because it was like beautiful sun, like lots of sun. So people used to come there because of the sun, but the people would come back because of the coffee. And so we knew that the barista, we needed to make sure that the barista was
spend
always
more on that than fresh.
Fresh croissants. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, yes, have fresh croissants.
Yeah.
But don't have we didn't have an opulent
you can't spend more on
display of-
sourcing the best quality croissants in South Africa
when they're
people
not
aren't
coming to us for croissants, right? So
and probably costs another company less money to get fresh croissants.
Yeah.
So also know where it's costing you more to provide a service than another person and competing based on
that's actually a very good example. There was a bakery down the road. We just used to buy used to buy the croissants in the bakery
so
stuff
don't compete,
from Coimbra.
You didn't compete to collaborate.
Yes, so it's like literally we buy it from them, we add our markup and we sell them. People could go there to the bakery and buy them, but you know that when you come here, you come for coffee. So same thing, like if you are a nail tech or a hair person and people are like coming for braids, don't they'll come for weaves and stuff, but don't bend over backwards for people to get their weaves done if you know that your killer product is your braid. So rather invest your time in, making sure that you have the best fiber, that you have the most comfortable chairs when people are braiding, etc., that your visuals, your marketing, which Sino's like the best at.
Thank you. I don't think I'm the best. I want to improve on that the most, but thank you.
Is favored to braids, right? So that when people go on your social pages, then they know, okay, this person does braids. They don't do all hair they do all hair because they're a salon, but
maybe when you scale, then you can say, okay, I want to branch into really improving my weave side. And then you get people that know how to source the best weaves from China or wherever.
Yeah.
So focus on what you do best at the smaller scale. And as you scale, you start by improving the thing that you do best. And then you start improving other things.
Yeah. No, definitely. Know your strengths and improve on those. That's important.
An example from my side is when everyone was begging me to do pajamas. So I was like, okay, my seamstress tried to make pajamas. He wasn't great at it. So then I outsourced and I sourced pajamas from someone else. So I was like, let me do very little amount. And she was like, no, do more. We can do this. And she literally flopped on me. She said she didn't know there wasn't enough material. And then she just didn't deliver. I had to refund my customers. So it's like, I branched out too quickly to try do something that I wasn't amazing at. Had I spent all that money, I spent too much money trying to get her in and to make that thing work. Had I spent that much money on my core business, which is my dooks and my pillowcases, I probably would have made more and been more successful at improving my core thing that I'm good at in that 3-month period than the time I wasted on trying to pursue pajamas. Yeah,
that's important. Yeah, diversifying is not always the thing.
Yeah,
it's not always the thing. Okay, so I'm going to do limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are basically the stories that we are tired of hearing. I am tired of hearing these things you people always say, oh,
they exist because they are the main problems of business.
Yes.
But I mean, how you interpret them and how you understand them, I think needs to change. I don't like cliches exist because it's real. So these are the cliches of business or whatever.
And how you respond to them.
But I think what can change is how we respond to them, guys. There's no ways we can, Okay,
anyway. So number 1, the product service must be perfect before launch.
I hate that one. I'll use a very simple example. I had a friend, she's so good at doing makeup, pictures, dressing well. She would not post a picture until it was flawless. And I said to her, who is flawless, on earth, to a point where she'd spend so much time on Facetune, changing stuff. And I was just like, you're so good. And you're better than 90% of everyone else. Just start, and maybe in 2 years you look back and say, oh, those pictures weren't so great. But there's so much joy in that process, because now she put off posting for a year, because I'm not joking, she didn't post for a year, she was posting once every 3 weeks for a year. Can you imagine the opportunities that she didn't get, her business didn't grow in that year? And also you don't know when the right moment is for your work and your whatever you do, because what if that year was the optimal year for her content, because also Instagram changed algorithms, so now her work would have been more visible to people at that year, because now that she's posting, algorithm is not supporting growth of influencers. Unfortunately, I've seen if you weren't on 100,000 followers 2 years ago, your followers just don't grow anymore. My followers aren't even growing anymore because of the algorithm. You need to post often, you need to post extra amazing content now to be seen and whatever. But I mean, when I was posting just selfies of myself and chilling and posting my most natural self, my followers were growing like crazy. But so I don't know how exactly the algorithm works, but don't perfect everything before you start.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Start. Obviously, don't like post rubbish. Don't like
don't
like start selling like real rubbish. But like, you know, if someone's willing to pay for it, then you have customers.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
And also it goes from the previous point, knowing your product. So you know your product and you know how you want to present it. And then take away the overly perfect image.
So limiting belief, I'm not confident enough to step out of my comfort zone.
So I'm very touch and go about that one because I feel like we draw our confidence from different sources that are forever fluctuating. I think we should always try overcome. For example, I was very, very, I lacked confidence beginning of this year because I gained a lot of weight during lockdown and I wasn't posting. When I started posting, I got approached by a lot of fitness brands and fitness clothes and a company actually that did a weight loss program. They paid me a little bit to do that. So it can bring new opportunities. So I don't know, it's touch and go for me. It's like push through it, but it's also okay to really understand what makes you feel confident and not confident. I'm not too sure about, being confident about the product itself also. I experienced a lot of ups and downs about that because I was like, if one person says, your colors are limited, like what's the point? Some person tweeted, this girl's forever advertising, yet she's always sold out. That really killed my confidence because I was like, hey, I was chasing the demand, trying to supply, but also understand that I'll never be able to satisfy all the demand. But this person with a large following went and tweeted this, and then it really killed my confidence. So to overcome that took a lot. So I don't know, I'm very in between about that. We've got different things that affect our confidence, and I think the process of overcoming each is very different. And yeah, it can slow down whether I'm in my influencing side or the business side. So you can just expand on what you feel and think about it.
I think from a business perspective, or when you are starting or scaling your business specifically, is if you've done your due diligence,
DD for short.
You know that your product is going to sell, or you know that there's a market for your business, or for your product or for your service, and that people are willing to give you money for this thing. The limiting belief is like, it's you having to overcome that first step, right? So like put it out there on your Instagram or put it out there on your Facebook or, set up your websites or whatever. It's that thing of saying, I've done my research. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Okay, so you need to always overcome.
Yeah,
always overcome.
Because otherwise you get that paralysis analysis of like, oh no, it's not perfect. Like if Sino was like, no, I can't launch my Dukes yet because I've only got 3 colors.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my gosh, when am I going to do this? I must wait for 10 colors, and then by the time 10 colors comes, I'm like I'm overly exhausted, etc., etc. Okay, my limiting belief. Okay, this one's a little bit similar. I should be able to figure out all of this by myself.
This is more about like, oh my gosh, like what career company do I use? You Google, you don't find anything. You can like talking to Nyaki about what career company she uses, how much they charge her. That really helped me there. So there's no way in any realm of reality that I would have been able to figure out the whole career thing. Like other people will just know more about certain things than you. Nyaki really spoke to me about maybe how to upsell products, and I had easy ideas of, hey, we can do this, we can do that, and then I was like, I suggest that I want to curate a box for you, and I think that would sell, and that really worked with Afro Botanics. And then the other one was like, if you put a duck in each box, I can't remember who came up with that idea, but I think it might have been me, I don't remember. But if you put a duck in each box, maybe that will sell more boxes. So like you can't figure out all the system processes yourself. Yeah,
no, that's important.
It's also expensive to pay professionals because there are people who know it all, but it's too expensive. So reach out to people that you see that are in the same spaces. You set up coffee meetings. My boyfriend goes to so many coffee meetings. I join him for some, and there's people that he meets on LinkedIn. Like that guy is crazy. Like he can DM someone on LinkedIn. Hi, I'm in this space. Can I please meet up with you? And what you told me about earlier, Fiverr, and then he literally go to a company website and see who the company execs are, and like he's got an advantage because he went to a certain school that a lot of business people went to. So he'll just call one of his friends, hey, you were in that year, and I hear this guy started this business, and he also went to our school. So then that guy will give him the other guy's number, and then he'll go meet with him.
Networking.
Yeah, networking.
That's important.
Yeah.
But so I would say for that, because a lot of people are like, oh no, I don't know people or whatever, or they want to meet people, is come to people. The Nigerians always say, come correct, right? So like,
yes,
come to
correct.
people with like
knowing what you
want. Don't like send. I don't know if
I get 1,000 of those.
Hi, Sino. That's it. That's the entire message. And like, you got 100 DMs to get through, or 100 emails to get. Literally, I think I've got like 6,178 emails. When am I going to respond to hi, Nyaki?
Okay, so I read all my emails, I get anxiety. But if there's hi, Sino, I'll read it, but I won't respond.
What are you going to say to it?
What I get thousands of is, hi, Sino, I'm starting a new business. Please help me. With what exactly?
Yeah.
And also, unfortunately, I'm getting so many of them. I'm probably most likely going to help my close friends and family. So I'm not going to be able to help everyone. For example, an email that I got today, which I really, my heart sank because I can't give her the time that she needs or probably deserves. She was asking me basically, what do I use for bookkeeping? And then I remember I also really struggled with that. And I was like, okay, hey, please use my YouTube and check out the business segment. But also I use Shopify and I use an accountant. So I gave her a little bit of information, and then I gave her a second piece of information that she can go to, which is my YouTube. But unfortunately, I can't take her through the 5-week process of trying to let her understand how I really worked around bookkeeping.
Yeah. That's important though, to like get that. But one of the things that I think is also like people need to be aware of is how much time you actually have. If you can spend like your data on, YouTube videos, you can definitely spend your data finding a supplier for whatever, for your packaging or for your...
So suppliers are very easily available on Google, but then also information on how things work is very available on YouTube. I spent over 2 hours just setting up my website. But people will be like, Sino, what do I do when I go on to Shopify? Like even getting on to Takealot, like Nyaki and I spoke about it a lot. But I mean, like me and her speaking about it as friends or business partners is very different than me going to DM a stranger on Instagram that I see is selling on Takealot and saying, hi, how did you sell on Takealot? So you can really Google, how do I sell on Takealot? The conversation about Takealot actually happened part of another conversation with Nyaki. Then I was like, oh, what happens there? And then she was talking about it. So actually there's another lady that owns a different brand actually who first told me about this whole Takealot thing, and it comes up in conversation. That's very different from me DMing her, not knowing her, and saying, hey, please help me get on Takealot, or how did you get on Takealot? There's there's like a few videos on YouTube about how to get onto Takealot.
No, I think that's come correct.
Yeah, come correct.
Come correct.
Go ask a person a very precise question, and also it can't be too broad. How do I start a business? You need to say, how do I find a supplier? Then I'll say Google, or like ask a specific question.
I think it's more specific than broad to say like, and so what someone will always get asked like about the boxes. Someone will ask like, where did you get your box supply? I always ask, which box supplies have you found?
Yeah,
so like which ones, give me a list of the ones that you found already,
that's a good response.
And then I will let you know if those are the right ones, or I will add on to your list. Because you just like, okay, these people do that, so what do you do? What should I do?
No, but the thing of copying that I experienced with you, I don't share any of my stuff, my suppliers that form part of my IP. Because what was happening that Nyaki was giving our box supply to a lot of people, and that slowed down his delivery to us. And then another thing that was happening, people would copy, like people wouldn't have ideas of what kind of boxes they wanted. So I pay someone to design my box thing, but then that person will just say, I want something like this, but just replace that logo with this logo, like replace her logo with my logo. Then it's very obvious when a box is exactly the same and you just replace the logo. So I don't give out my box supplies. I don't give out my label supplies. I don't give out my seamstress. A lot of people ask me about my seamstress. A lot of people ask me, I don't give that out.
But all that information you can find it on Google.
On Google, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Oh, wait, I wanted to say, if you do want any formal help with your business, go onto my website, nyakichabangu.com.
Oh, yes! The last I checked, so she surprises me sometimes. Like, we won't speak for like 3 weeks, and 3 weeks later she'll be like, boom, boom, boom. Now I want to move to New York. Yeah, I'm like, yo, when did that happen? So I also like that our processes and what we do is very fluid. Maybe having a natural hair company website for so long and service before is the those are the steps to you being what you eventually will be that you don't even know yet.
I think that's such a key point, though. Actually, like, people get bogged down. Like, Sino's not Love Kinks. Like, if tomorrow you decide you're like, no, actually, I want to sell relaxer.
Yeah. Or texturizer.
God
I've been
forbid.
seeing a lot about texturizing.
God forbid. But like, all the skills that you've learned are going to go into that business. And I think that's something that we mustn't take for granted. It's like years of like, yo guys, I've tried every kind of business. Every kind of business.
I used to make pallet tables. So I used to post on Facebook and Instagram, like, I'm making these rustic tables. So it was like pallets, repurposed pallets. Really? And then I'd go to people's houses, charge them 800 Rand, sand it down, repaint it, put it together, and go buy a glass at Builders and put a glass
business idea
on it.
You want to start a business, you don't know what it is, here you go. Pallet
I
tables.
did that for a year. My friend, I used to go out for drinks and stuff on Saturdays, and then my friend would join me and we'd go palleting. We'd go fetch pallets. I had a small car, so I could only take 2 pallets at a time. So with each order, I have to drive to downtown, get the pallets, go, at least the varnish I could keep for longer, and then I'd go to their house. Sometimes the glass used to break. I used to buy thin glass to save money, and I realized the thin glass breaks 50% of the time, so I'd rather buy the thicker glass, which never breaks, so you're saving actually more money because I was wasting more replacing the thin glass. So I stopped, but I learned a lot in that process to get me where I am. Love Kings is like in its 4th year cycle, and it's nothing that I thought that it would be 4 years ago. I only started as a masterclass information provider, but my result was always one thing.
Yeah.
It was supplying natural hair information to make the hair care process much easier.
Solve the results.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. I hope that this really helped. I'll put Nyaki's website below. I'll put her cell number. I'll put her Instagram.
You say that, right? Everybody has my cell number.
Really?
People don't phone.
Oh.
People don't use it. Every time you get an email from me, it will have my cell number on there. But I've never gotten a phone call.
No, now that you told me,
People are not.
You might be ringing.
People are not
the
brave.
I call
Be brave,
you.
guys.
I call Nyaki all the time, and I always like try and listen out for
40
her tone. I always try to listen out for 40 minutes. I always try to listen out for her tone in the beginning. If she's like sounding like half asleep, then I'll be like, oh, Sino. I'm like, hi, Nyaki, can you speak? But if she's like, hi, Sino, I'm like, yes. So, thank you for watching. So you can just follow this young lady's journey. She did a masterclass. I don't know if you'll be doing more.
I will.
So basically, the first one was what she's covered here. The main things that helped her achieve her 1 million Rand revenue. So I'll write it down right now on the screen. So we just touched on some cliches or negativity or limiting beliefs that you need to overcome or to see differently so that you can start and get going. It's possible. I hope that us sitting here and telling you guys our story shows you guys that it really is possible. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe and comment down below what you thought of the video. And I'll be doing I'll be doing actually a YouTube video with my accountant. My accounting team. They're just going to tell you guys how to go about the more financial side of the business. It's one of the most important.
It is.
Like, if that's not done properly, then I don't know. And then maybe I could have an interview with my lawyer actually, and then I'll do one with one other black lady that owns a business locally. Yeah.
Cool. Thank
you. And also I'll be having Zuleika on my Instagram. I was supposed to do it last week, but like schedules clashed, so I'll do that. She's launched a book. So anyway, thank you guys. We're rambling. Bye. See natural.
I'll do it.
Okay, so let's do it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
See natural.